of Maharashtra. Now, more than 2 weeks after the declaration of results of assembly elections in Maharashtra, the newly elected assembly has been now kept under suspended animation and president's rule imposed in the state as per the provisions of Article 356 of the Constitution. This came after several twists and turns on the road to formation of the new government. After its split with the long-standing partner Shiv Sena, the BJP, which is the single largest party in the new assembly, expressed its inability to form the government. Governor then invited the second largest party, Shiv Sena, followed by the third largest, NCP, to form the government. Both these parties sought more time to gather support, which was in turn denied by the governor. In the second half of Tuesday, Governor finally sent his recommendations to the central government for imposing president's rule in the state, saying his attempts toward government formation have not yielded any results. So what is the way forward from here onwards for government formation in the state of Maharashtra? For more on this and to understand the present political situation in the state, we have with us a distinguished panel of guests. Let me first introduce the guest to you, beginning with Mr. Deshratan Nigam. He's an advocate in the Supreme Court, a constitutional expert, also keeps a tab on the developments like these. We also have with us Mr. Venkatesh Kesari, a senior journalist, again somebody who keeps quite a watchful eye on the developments in Maharashtra and elsewhere as well. Mr. Ashok Tandon, another senior journalist with us. And we're also joined by Mr. Sanjay Jog from Mumbai, another veteran journalist there. So let me begin with you, Mr. Jog, to try and understand what exactly is the situation right now on the ground there. That's in the state of Maharashtra. The state is now under the president's rule.
Exactly, Vishal. Just about 4 hours before formally the president rule has come into an effect. And immediately now, all the political parties have restarted the efforts in the formation of the government. Now let's talk about BJP. BJP is currently on a wait and watch mode. On the other hand, Shiv Sena, yesterday only, they formally approached basically the Congress and NCP to have a kind of an alliance to give an alternative in Maharashtra. Today, for the first time, Congress and NCP, senior leaders, top leaders, had almost a 2-hour meeting in Mumbai to work out further formality. Subsequently, Shiv Sena chief Uddhav Thackeray also went to a hotel retreat where all of his newly elected legislators are currently camping. They were all eager to know what's going to be the future course of action. Okay. After both the press conferences, quite interesting scenario is emerging. Congress NCP said we will first need to have a common minimum program. Further details will be worked out together about the formation of the alliance. And the third, very interestingly, what will be the portfolio allocation, how it will be distributed, and all other details will be worked out together. Okay. That will be together later discussed with Shiv Sena. On the other hand, Uddhav Thackeray at his press conference for the first time said, they are right. I was the first to, approach them only yesterday, and thereby he also countered BJP's attack that he was all the time getting cozy with the Congress and NCP. Instead, he was avoiding BJP call for the formation of the government. Okay. So, all the political parties are really, again, geared up for forming the government. But as Mr. Pawar as well as Uddhav Thackeray said, they have got enough time to mobilize all the support in view of the governors or whatever the president drew.
Okay, Mr. Jog. So quite clearly out there, there seems to be a lot of things which are becoming clear. But then all these three players, that is the Shiv Sena, NCP and the Congress, are still trying to work things amongst themselves. Meanwhile, the state is already under the president's rule. Mr. Tandon, how do you see? This has been a very, ride to the government formation, which has a lot and lots of twists and turns. Split between the long-standing allies, then, Shiv Sena trying to approach the Congress and the Congress also in turn trying to reciprocate. Both of them have been bitter political rivals.
No, first of all, we'll have to see that the main outcome of this entire drama is that split between BJP and Shiv Sena is complete now. I don't think that in future they can come together. Firstly, because after the election, the BJP was all the time saying that the mandate is in favor of the alliance between BJP and Shiv Sena. And when Devendra Fadnavis went to see the governor, he said, well, we will form the government only when we are together. On our own, we don't have the number. But most pertinent thing was when Devendra Fadnavis was finally making an announcement, the kind of language is used against Shiv Sena, that you have been attacking our Prime Minister, you have been attacking our leadership, and that almost clear that now the parting of ways is final and complete.
There is no room for approachment.
Yeah. But further, when NCP leader Sharad Pawar also made a precondition that you should pull out of the NDA, and which they did. So therefore, as far as BJP Shiv Sena chapter is concerned, it is closed forever as far as I can understand. So therefore, BJP will have, in fact the BJP earlier was going it alone. Now BJP in future will never ally with Shiv Sena, and I am afraid whether the Bombay Municipal Corporation, which is being run jointly by BJP and Shiv Sena, will continue. So therefore, one thing is clear, that the BJP Shiv Sena will not come together. So therefore, Shiv Sena had to look for new allies, and in that context they started making overtures, and we know what happened. But I think the lack of political acumen within the Shiv Sena has led them to almost a complete isolation, unless of course NCP and Congress agree to support Shiv Sena's chief ministership, which I don't think is likely to happen in the near future. But Congress also has played its card very well. They have not revealed anything so far, because they know that any kind of alliance with Shiv Sena will prove to be very deadly as far as politics is concerned. Shiv Sena now is hoping against hope that the NCP Congress will come round and support our chief ministership. But I think biggest loser in this entire game as of now is Shiv Sena, but the gainer seems to be NCP, because they are kind of an equidistance between Shiv Sena and Congress.
And they're the kingmakers now.
They are, no, I will not be surprised tomorrow if Shiv Sena has to make a compromise and accept a chief minister of NCP, for which Congress also will have no problem. So you never know, the situation may change. But as of now, one thing is clear, that Shiv Sena has perhaps fallen into a trap laid by the other three parties. I will not rule out that even NCP and Congress are also part of the plot to isolate Shiv Sena completely from Maharashtra politics.
Okay, well, there are a lot of, political strategies being discussed everywhere in all those four camps as well, I'm pretty sure. Mr. Venkatesh, would you agree with the premise put forward by Mr. Tandon here, that this is the end of the road for the partnership between Shiv Sena and BJP, one, and two, that things could have been different if Shiv Sena leadership would have tried to take them via a different route maybe?
I don't think so, because in politics there is no full stop. If Nitish Kumar can leave and rejoin the NDA, why not the Shiv Sena, number one. Number two, the spirit of accommodation to be shown by the BJP has not seen, which was there when Advani and Vajpayee were at the helm of the affairs. They were the head of the party and the government. Number three, now Maharashtra has been witnessing coalition government since 1995 without a break.
Okay.
So no party is in a position to form government on its own. What was the compulsion? Why the BJP and why Mr. Shah went to Matushri before the Lok Sabha elections and strike a deal with the Shiv Sena? What was the compulsion? When we had majority here, when we had a strong leader there, so they must have realized the ground situation is different from what they are projecting. Okay. In Maharashtra is a typical state where no single party has so far able to form the government or emerge stronger there. Now the fight is for the political space. BJP used to be the junior player of the Shiv Sena before 2014. After 2014, the situation has been changed, which the Shiv Sena has not been able to reconcile.
But could Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, since the press conference which he did, and Mr. Jog also pointed out that he himself clarified that he only approached the NCP and Congress just a day earlier. So if he was sensing that, he is not getting, or his party is not getting its due from its alliance partner BJP, Could he have done it in a different way? Maybe, you
Yes.
know, approached
Yes.
the
Yes,
2B
yes.
allies a little earlier, maybe, you know, ironed out all these things.
Yes, yes, you are absolutely right in the sense that Shiv Sena and BJP fought the elections together with pre-poll alliance, and the mandate was for the pre-poll alliance of the Shiv Sena BJP. But later on, the Shiv Sena, Congress and the NCP, they did not work out a common strategy.
Okay.
They half-heartedly done the homework, and they wanted, firstly, Shiv Sena, NCP and Congress said the mandate is to sit in the opposition, but later on they changed their stand and they did not do their homework well. That's why we have seen that yesterday, Shiv Sena was waiting for the support from the Congress party. NCP too said that they are waiting for the support from the Congress party, and Congress did not give. NCP, nobody knows what is the strategy. So I think the situation is ultimately, it can favor the BJP in the long run.
So is it also that the Congress also deterred along the way, and that might have also been, that might have played a lot of spoil
I think
sport?
Congress has not been able to decide which is the
Make up its mind.
which is the greater enemy, political rival, Shiv Sena or BJP. That's why they are giving conflicting signals.
Okay. Okay, we'll leave, move on to the next one, and let me bring in Deshwatan Nigam here. Mr. Nigam, my question to you is on the process which has been followed, the things which have happened all along, keeping the politics aside, the way it has happened, and also from here onwards, what might be the steps to the government formation with respect to what the law says, what the Constitution says?
In order to understand the constitutional legal position, we have to first see the admitted facts of the entire situation. The admitted facts is that there was a pre-poll alliance, two pre-poll alliance. The first one of the Shiv Sena and BJP did not hold, it did not work. The second pre-poll alliance said, we have a mandate to sit in the opposition. See, both the alliance did not stake claim. Now, according to the constitution and the legal position, then it was incumbent upon the governor to call the largest party. And the largest party said, we cannot form the government. And then I think, in my opinion, governor should have stopped and recommended president's rule. But governor took far more precautions than that was legally or constitutionally required. He called the second largest party, which was Shiv Sena, and then NCP. Shiv Sena didn't have the support of the other two. However, in the entire scenario, if you look at it, nobody staked the claim for formation of the government, except willingness to stake the claim. There's a difference. See, governor will only look at the formal stake to claim to form a government. That letter never came from anybody. So the only situation left for the governor was to recommend president's rule in the given circumstances, following S.R. Bomai's case, which was a 7 judges constitution bench, which case was fine-tuned in Rameshwar Prasad, a 5-judge bench case, where the entire process as to how the parties and the coalitions have to be called was looked into and kept in mind, and further precautions were taken by the governor. And Shiv Sena is approaching the Supreme Court here to grant more time for formation of government. That petition has become infructuous now because the president rule has already been imposed.
In the state.
So they have to withdraw that petition tomorrow.
Okay.
And if they want to challenge the president rule, then there are very well laid down principles for challenging, which in this case appears to be very, very limited, almost nil chance. As a lawyer, I can tell you.
Okay.
So if you take it further from here,
Yeah. What happens now? How can the government be formed
so
from here on?
the government, all options are open for the parties. Now, what parties were doing were rushing into things. Now they have a time to cool down, to consciously sit down and think about how to go about it. Now, if tomorrow they are able to cobble up numbers and have a majority coalition, they can approach the governor, and governor then can consider whether they have a genuine support of the people or not. Again, there is a discretion of the governor here, not to test the numbers, that is to be done in the floor of the house, but to overall see whether it will be a stable coalition, whether they have overall numbers in terms of formal letters of support from everybody. That is the only process that is left.
Okay. That brings me to the next question to Mr. Jog out there. The next step for the government formation, as Deshrathan Nigam is pointing out, and as is there spelled out in the law, in the constitution as well, that now the options are open for all the political players. If they can cobble up the numbers required for that majority mark, they can approach the governor. So to that extent, what exactly do you believe, Sanjay, might be happening right now? Is it that these three players, that is Shiv Sena, NCP and Congress, will still try and move ahead on their discussions, and maybe they might come to a joint conclusion or some sort of agreement amongst themselves?
Absolutely, Vishal. Let me give you some kind of an insight. After talking to a couple of senior leaders in Congress, Shiv Sena as well as NCP, as far as the NCP is concerned, Mr. Pawar was given every power, basically to chart its party's own path for future line of action. Secondly, internally, NCP has set up a 6-member committee, including Mr. Pawar himself, basically to work out the modalities when it comes to, drafting a common minimum program, what will be the distribution of portfolios, how the chief ministership will be divided, what are the contentious issues that can be kept apart. This on the front of how it can be taken when it comes to on a table with a discussion with the Shiv Sena. Okay. As far as the Congress is concerned, Ahmad Patel, Mr. K.C. Venugopal, Mallikarjun Kharge, along with the state president Balasaheb Thorat, former Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan and Ashok Chavan, they have also set up their internal group to work out a common minimum program that can be exchanged together between Congress and NCP and later with Shiv Sena. In case of Shiv Sena, as Sanjay Raut, who has been quite vocal for last 20 days, firing salvos against BJP, he has undergone an angioplasty. So in his absence, Uddhav has set up a kind of a 5-member team comprising senior Shiv Sena leaders, again to work out their own draft. So I think it will take much of what they are indicating me that about 10 days they will require. So again, 3 of them will sit together, work out the nitty-gritties and arrive at a common minimum program and a further agenda. Now let's talk of BJP. BJP has not given up for forming the government. You must have listened to the conference attended by Devendra Fadnavis. He said BJP-led government is going to be the reality. So BJP will make all efforts, even though the state president has come out clearly saying that his party does not believe in horse trading. But I still say, as a politics is an art of all possibilities, both of them are currently working again to lure back Shiv Sena. As Mr. Tandon also said, I fully agree. Even though, as of now, both seems to have parted ways. But, in politics, anything can be possible. BJP has so far said, as far as Shiv Sena, their 30-year-old ally is concerned, it's not untouchable. So going back to Shiv Sena, opening again a channel for communication cannot be ruled out.
Okay, so that's quite an interesting scenario out there, and that brings me back to you, Mr. Tandon. Although you initially said that it might not happen, but as Venkatesh pointed out earlier, and as Sanjay is also saying, now that there is time to sit back, relax and think about it again, as Deshrathan was also saying, with the governor's suggestion being implemented, that is the president's rule being imposed, can it be that there might be some more options which are there, which are not visible right now, or which are not being talked about right now?
No, these options are being talked about in the media. That is a split in Shiv Sena. Because Shiv Sena has always been apprehensive of a split with a chunk going to BJP. And that is one likelihood about which Uddhav Thackeray must be really afraid of and worried about it. But you also cannot rule out, if I not say split, at least desertions from the Congress as well as NCP. So situation is such that anything can happen. But right now, the way the three parties, Shiv Sena, NCP and Congress are trying to work out a common minimum program, I was listening to Shivraj Patil. He said, suppose tomorrow they say that, well, all non-Maharashtrians leave Mumbai what will be the position of the Congress party. And that, this, he said, has always been the stand of Shiv Sena. So how much compromise or coming down Shiv Sena can do without losing its identity, which is very difficult for Congress to digest. So Shiv Sena's track record has been such that I don't know about NCP, but Congress cannot afford to in fact even think of going with Shiv Sena, because the message all over the country would be, well, then what is the difference between BJP and Shiv Sena? Tomorrow Congress can even join hands with BJP. So ideologically they are so different. I personally feel it will not be easy for Congress even to work out a common minimum program with Shiv Sena. So that seems to be unlikely, but in politics anything is possible. Coming back to any chance of Shiv Sena and BJP rapprochement, well, unless Uddhav Thackeray retracts his position, because I remember when Devendra Fadnavis accused him of, abusing his leader Narendra Modi, Uddhav immediately denied it. I have never attacked Narendra Modi personally. So that means he also realizes that quite a lot of water has flowed through the river. Now, if they want to do a rapprochement, then I think somebody like Manohar Joshi of the Shiv Sena will have to come forward and do that, but it seems unlikely, at least for the next 6 months when there is president rule. So the only option left is any common minimum program being worked out between Shiv Sena, NCP and Congress. Again, Congress will not compromise on the chief ministership of Uddhav Thackeray. How can, with what phase Congress will accept Uddhav Thackeray as chief minister with Congress support? So I think there are inherent contradictions in this whole game. So I will not be surprised if the president rule remains for 6 months and there are fresh elections.
Okay, that's another point which I would like to bring Deshwatan on that. But before that, Venkatesh, this, as Mr. Tandon is pointing out, and as we understand the way things have started moving, this seems to be the catch-22 most difficult situation for the Congress party, as Mr. Tandon is also saying. And right now, do you believe that all these three players, even if they come with a common minimum program, will they be able to go ahead and sail through it for a longer period? Because ultimately it's about putting in place a stable government.
We shall forget common minimum program or distribution of portfolios. If they really think that BJP is their common enemy, political rival, then they will work decisively. If they are divided, then politics starts, number one. Number two, congressmen in Maharashtra have always been comfortable with the Shiv Sena than the BJP. Shiv Sena, which was formed in 1966, was used to call as Vasant Sena. It was very close to late Vasantrao Naik, VP Naik. He was the chief minister, longest serving chief minister. After that, Shiv Sena had supported emergency of 1975. In 1980, Shiv Sena did not put up a candidate against the Congress party, and Mr. A.R. Antole was the chief minister. He made 3 Shiv Sena leaders MLC, member of Legislative Council from the Congress quota. And finally, Shiv Sena was revived by nobody else, neither RSS nor BJP, but Vasantdada Patil. In 1985, he said, Maharashtra is in Bombay is in Maharashtra, but Maharashtra is not in Bombay, number one. And he said that Rajiv Gandhi government is planning to make Bombay as union territory, and this side revived the Shiv Sena, and Shiv Sena won the Bombay Municipal Corporation election.
But that's the history. That's the history.
No. What I'm saying,
30 years of relationship, political relationship between both the parties.
Forget 30 years. Shiv Sena has never gone to RSS chief. Shiv Sena has never gone to Rishim Bagh in Nagpur. Shiv Sena's Hindutva is basically Bombay Hindutva, and BJP's Hindutva is Nagpur Hindutva. So there is a difference.
But they have been alive in the government all these years, in opposition as well, in BMC also, in municipal corporations.
Equations can change. Shiv Sena was never part of the Sangh Parivar. Never, even though it is identified with the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. So basically, the inner contradictions are different in Maharashtra, and you see, BJP never thought that Shiv Sena will get allies outside the NDA. But now if the Congress and NCP are soft on the Shiv Sena, then anything can happen.
Okay, so there are again, no end to the possibilities in politics, and as all of you are pointing out, yes, it happens. But that brings me to the last question to you, Mr. Nigam. As per the stated law, the way things stand right now, there is a president's rule imposed in the state of Maharashtra. The duration is for 6 months. Any party or any number of parties, if they can come together and prove to the governor that yes, they have the numbers, the governor in his wisdom might ask them to go ahead and form a government, stable government. If that does not happen, then what happens after 6 months? Does it continue further, or will there be fresh elections, or is there some other procedure we will have to go through?
You know, as of now, the assembly is in suspended animation, which means it can be revived anytime. And if a stable coalition government, coalition comes forward, the governor will invite them to form a government. But they have to first satisfy the governor. So discretion lies with the governor. Now, after 6 months, they have to take an approval from the parliament to extend it for further 6 months. And therefore, that possibility of extension is always there.
Okay.
But then I don't think one should keep it for very long. Maharashtra is not a state where you have a law and order problem or a situation like Jammu and Kashmir. So possibility would be that there will be a clear understanding among people to form a government. If also that does not happen, then election is the next scenario.
Okay. So there it is, as has been clearly pointed out by all our panelists, the situation, the political situation, and if I must say, the fluid political situation in the state of Maharashtra, with these 4 important players still trying to figure out as to how a stable new government can be formed. Meanwhile, the state of Maharashtra has been put under president's rule, but the assembly has been put under suspended animation. That means that these political parties, the newly elected members of the Maharashtra Assembly, do have another chance to go ahead and form a stable government if they can cobble up a majority. That is, all these political players, and the efforts will most likely gather some momentum in the days to come. We'll keep a watch on the developments in the state of Maharashtra and keep you updated about it. We'll come back again tomorrow with a different topic and different set of guests. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.